Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that you need to do before buying a house. So let's get right into it. One of the first steps that you can take is to talk with your agent. This is one of the first best steps that you can take because a good agent can answer your questions, can give you information that's going to be helpful in the process, and can also provide you with resources. Now, a bad agent is going to pressure you into buying as quickly as possible, and they're going to want you to apply with a lender. They're going to want to take you through the steps really quickly. But again, a good agent is not going to do that. A good agent is going to first listen to your situation, listen to what your goals are, and walk you through the different steps in the process. Also, don't be afraid to talk to multiple agents, right? If you're talking with one agent and maybe they're not answering your questions or not providing you good information, feel free to talk to another agent, right? You want to make sure that you have someone who's going to help you in the process because you are making a very big purchase. Alright, so the second thing that you need to do before buying a house is improve your credit score. In order to do that, you need to first know what is your credit score, right? Where are you right now? So one of the resources that I have here is annualcreditreport.com, and I actually have it pulled up right here, so let's take a look. So if you go to annualcreditreport.com, you're going to see the website, and one of the first things you're going to see is a red button, and it's going to say request your free credit reports. So you want to make sure you click on that, and it's going to take you through the different steps in order to get that report. Now, this is completely free. You may see a pop-up in between the steps that is going to ask you if you want to pay, but you can just click skip because it's completely free. So don't get fooled by those pop-ups. Just make sure to skip them. And once you get to the last page and you get your report, it's going to give you a breakdown of the things that are in your history, right? Any missed payments that you have, all the credit cards that you have, different accounts that you have open. And you want to make sure that you take a look at that and see if there are any mistakes in there, right? Because sometimes, credit card companies may make a mistake and that's going to affect your credit score. So one of the first things you want to make sure is that everything there is correct, that your information is correct, your name and everything else. And after that, you can start seeing where can you improve your credit. Now, the 3 main things that affect your credit score are the payment history, the amount you owe, and the length of your credit history. So if we take a look right here, we can see that the first one is, again, payment history. What this means is you don't want to have any missed payments, right? You want to make sure that on your credit cards you're paying that minimum payment, or paying a little bit more of the balance if you can. But make sure that you don't miss any payments, right? You can also set automatic payments. That way, you don't have to worry about it, and they're just gonna get paid when the payment comes due. But again, you don't want to have any missed payments, as that is going to affect the rate that you get once the lender starts looking at it. Now, the second thing here is the amount you owe, right? So what this means is you don't want to max out your credit cards, right? So if you have $5,000 credit limit, you don't want to be at $4,000, right? That'll be 80% of your credit that you're using in that credit card. So you want to make sure that you're using your credit, but you're using it responsibly, right? If the lender sees that all the credit cards you have are just maxed out, that's going to increase your debt to income ratio, which is something we're going to talk about next. But the point is, you want to have as low debt as possible, so you don't want to be maxing out your credit cards. The third thing right here is the length of your credit history, which makes up 15% of your credit score. So, if you've had credit accounts or different types of accounts open for multiple years, that's going to help you, right? Because it shows that you have a long history, you've been making your payments on time, you have a low debt to income ratio, and you're responsible with your credit cards, right? So that's definitely good. Now, if you have a credit card that you probably opened 3 years ago, but you don't use it, right? You just don't use it at all. You want to make sure that you do not close that account, right? Because even if you don't use it, but if you close that account, then it's going to shorten your credit history, right? So even if you don't use it, you want to make sure that you leave it open. Now, if you're paying a high fee for keeping it open, then you might want to think about it, right, and see if it's going to be beneficial or not, because obviously you don't want to just be paying a fee for nothing. But again, the longer you have your credit accounts open, the better it's going to help your score. Now, moving on to the third thing that you need to do before buying a house is pay down your debt. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to go and pay down all your debt, but the lower debt you have, the better. One of the things that the lender is going to look at is your debt to income ratio. So if you apply for a conventional loan, your debt to income ratio can be up to 45%. For an FHA, it can be up to 57%. So let's take an example. Let's say you make $4,000 every month. So if your debt can be as high as 50%, then what's 50% of 4,000? That's 2,000. That means your debt can be up to $2,000 every month, right? Now, to calculate that debt, the lender's going to look at payments that you're already making. So let's say you're making $200 payment towards your credit cards. You're paying $200 towards your student loan. You're paying $200 towards your car loan, right? So that's already $600 in payments that you're making. So $600 to get to $2,000, that's another $1,400. So that means you have $1,400 that you can use towards your mortgage. Now, if you pay down some of that debt, and instead of having payments of $200 for each of them, and instead you're paying $100, then that's $300 that you're making in payments already, which to get to $2,000, it's $1,700. So now you have a bigger payment that you can use towards your mortgage payment. So again, that's helpful because now you're going to have more money that you can use towards your mortgage payment, which is also going to equal to a higher loan. And with a higher loan, you're going to have more choices of different houses. Maybe you want to buy a bigger house. Maybe you're looking at different areas where they're a little bit more expensive. So now you're going to have more options to look into that area. So it's definitely helpful to pay down some of that debt, as it's going to give you more room to use your money towards a mortgage payment. Alright, now moving on to the fourth thing that you need to do before buying a house is start saving for your down payment. Depending on what your current situation is, you may be thinking about buying maybe a year or more from now, or maybe you're thinking about buying in the next couple of months. No matter what type of situation you're in right now, you want to make sure that you're going to have enough to cover the down payment and also the closing costs. So let's take an example. Let's say you're buying a house at $250,000. So 3.5% of that is going to be $8,750. Now that's going to be your down payment. Your closing costs can be 3 to 5% of the purchase price. So 3% of $250,000 is going to be $7,500. Now adding those up is going to add up to about $16,000, right? So you want to make sure that you have that amount at least, right? You want to have more than that in case other costs come into play, but you want to have at least $16,000 to cover those costs. You don't want to get 30 days into the deal and then realize that you actually don't have enough money, and then you're going to have to back out of the deal. For this one, I do want to share a resource and tell you that there are multiple resources out there that you can look at that provide help with down payment assistance or that go towards closing costs. So for example, just looking at a website here, and you can just Google down payment assistance programs, but right now I'm looking at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Now I looked through the page and I went to Illinois since that's where I'm at. But if you go to Illinois, you can see right here, there's more information in the bottom. You can see one of the programs is the Illinois Housing Development Authority. So if we click on that link, it's going to take us to the page to the Illinois Housing Development Authority, and you can see the different programs that they have available there. So for example, we have the forgivable mortgage, we also have the deferred mortgage, and again, it's going to show you right there what that program is about and what requirements are needed. And you want to make sure that you take a look at these, right? Because if you do need help for your closing costs, for your down payment, this is going to be really helpful to make sure that you have enough to cover all those costs. So make sure you look at different resources that are provided here, and I am going to post a link below in the description so you can go right there and take a look at these programs. Now the fifth and last thing that you want to do before buying a house is talk with your lender. If you have a good agent, that agent should have provided you with a lender or multiple lenders that you can talk to and ask any questions that you have. Now, if you have a bad agent and they didn't provide you with those resources, then you may want to look somewhere else. Don't be afraid to talk with a lender, because this could be one of the most important steps that you can take. Talking with a lender, you can ask them questions maybe that you have about your credit score, about your debt to income ratio, and a good lender, without running your score, should be able to tell you if you have things that you can improve on, and maybe if you're ready to buy, or maybe if there's things that you can work on, right? Maybe it's your credit score is too low, so maybe you need to improve that first. But at least talking with a lender, you're gonna have an idea of what to work on, compared to if you don't talk to them at all. You're not gonna have any idea, if maybe you're ready to buy, or maybe there's things that you can improve on. So definitely make sure to talk with a lender. And again, your real estate agent should be the one that you should be asking for, if they have anyone that they have worked with, or someone that they have good recommendations about and that can help you in your situation. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things that you need to do before buying a house. Now, my goal is to provide you with information and resources that can help you make better decisions. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe using the button below. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.